Had the COVID-19 vaccine.
Because self-care.
I got it because I wanted to get back to my normal.
I was one of the first ones that got it. And now, I'm helping others get theirs.
So let's get it together. Sign up and get your vaccine today, and let's stop COVID in its tracks. Visit IGotItMS.com.
We are all relentless in our pursuit to get better.
I honestly just need more accuracy and more distance.
Okay.
Contact is solid. The spin rate's a little out of control, costing you a lot of yardage. Let's make some adjustments here. And I'm going to move the weight. So I put it all the way back in the heel. Allow the club face to square up a little easier for you.
Love that one.
You know you can get better. We know we can help.
It's Pink Friday 2021, and here's a message from one of our survivors.
Hello, I'm Robin Roberts, and I am happy to join the American Cancer Society in the fight against breast cancer. As a breast cancer survivor and proud Mississippi native, I'm honored to support Pink Friday, a fundraiser for breast cancer awareness. We all have a part to play in this fight, and by working together, one day we are determined to find a cure for breast cancer. Get your tickets now to support this wonderful event.
Okay, so how long have you been coming to Stan?
Since 1987. I've forever loved Stan's Burgers because the people, they're real people. They help the community and their family own and operate. And the food, the quality, and service has always been phenomenal. And anywhere I'm at, I always recommend people to them. It's great food, and you get enough love for your money. If you need a good place to eat and you want a good environment to support the community and support the effort of the Jackson community, I recommend Stamp's Super Burger to you because, like I said,
Well, I got it.
I got it.
You already know.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and for all those who's listening and watching it from around the world. And we are now live from the corner of Dalton and Lynch Street. It's the show where we take you inside the game before the game begins. It's the Pregame with your host, Charles Bishop and Neely. So get ready because we pregame harder than the other show's part. It's the Pregame.
And welcome into the Pregame Show, live from the venerable cathedral that is Mississippi Veterans Memorial Stadium. It's Bishop, it's Neely, little Cosell to start things.
The venerable cathedral that is Veterans Memorial Stadium. Chuck, you took word power at Jackson State. We are live, the Pregame Show, first home game.
Yes, first home game.
The season doesn't start till we play at home, Chuck.
That very much so, very much so. Jackson State, Grambling, get it on today here, 1 o'clock kickoff. Both coming off a victory last week. But I tell you what, there is nothing like a home opener here at Jackson.
No, not at all, man. We had a great time in Miami, great time in Memphis. We are 2-0 on the season, but now we're at home. And we have an opponent in Grambling, but it's a non-conference opponent this year.
Right.
So it hadn't changed the energy that it's not a conference game because Coach Prime plays to win and the team plays to win. So we're going to play everybody to win. But now that we're home at the Vet, man, this place is going to be packed. I'm thinking about 50,000.
I'm guessing 50,000 today. And right, it doesn't change the energy. It's Grambling on the other side. You know, in that pantheon of rivals, Grambling is right up in there with them.
Yeah, right there, right there. I think historically they're at the top when you look at just the longevity of the SWAC. But it's become Southern out of Baton Rouge in, say, the last 30 years. But Grambling, you go back to those Eddie Robinson days, the W.C. Gordon days. We're always at each other's heels on who gets drafted, the number of players, and their success in the NFL. So it's certainly a historic rivalry. And they come in here today head coached by one of Coach Prime's good friends in Hugh Jackson.
Hugh Jackson, he brings energy to this Grambling program, trying to revitalize a bit. But when you take a look at them, they're an explosive team. We'll get into that. It's going to be a great one today. And you mentioned it, historic rivals. There's a generation prior to us where Grambling was probably number one in terms of that number one rival.
In the world.
Yeah, very much so.
They were the tip. You know, you talk about that venerable cathedral, they would be the cross on top of it. They are who they are historically, have gone through some challenges, including when they didn't show up for a game here. You know I was going to bring that up.
I knew you were.
Yeah,
I had no doubt.
Hey, you know, but now that we're back for a home game, it kicks off the sponsorship of Cadillac of Jackson, and our folks from Cadillac Jackson here, they're going to be joining us on the program. They're over in the shade. We're just waving at them.
I know.
So, you know, they are a big supporter of Jackson State Athletics, a sponsor of the Pregame Show. So you're going to be seeing more and more of them with the Pregame Show and JSU Athletics.
Yeah, looking forward to a great partnership with the Pregame Show. Well,
and I love riding with Coach Prime and his Cadillac. Yeah.
Yeah, rub it in.
Yeah, I had to rub it in. Yeah. I had to sit back there with Gunner, but, you know, I'm still in there.
It is what it is. Man, let's start things off. Let's take a look back at last week versus Tennessee State. Big win, Southern Heritage Classic, 51,000 people there. Jackson State comes out on top, 16-3. And the storyline within that game, this Jackson State defense, 9 sacks. I mean, they were flying all over the place.
I told you so. That's what I'm saying to the audience out there, is that I told you so. I told you how dynamic this defense was going to be when I watched them practice and prepare all summer long under strength and conditioning coach Mo Sims, and that's with 1M. But everybody was in a panic, Chuck. What are we going to do without James Houston? And I told him, I said, you know, you got a guy who was getting 3 or 4 sacks a game. Now you got multiple guys who can get 3 or 4 sacks a game. A 9-sack performance against Eddie George's Tennessee State in Memphis.
And number one thing, they stopped the run. They were able to pin their ears back and fly after Tennessee State's quarterback. Phenomenal job. Nashville native Niles Gaddy coming out party, 4 sacks.
You know, you always look for that big game in Memphis, those backstories. Arbor Miller, it's his hometown, so you knew he was going to be up. But Niles Gaddy, it was his coming out party. You know, he was in the shadow of James Houston, if you will, last year. And we had a conversation with Niles that we're going to play. We're going to get to that. But he is energetic. He's excited about his new role as being a leader on this defense, not just in his performance, but also vocal leadership, because, you know, he's a pretty quiet guy.
He is.
He's a pretty quiet guy, but you're seeing him start to emerge. And I think we got this clip ready with Niles Gaddy that we'll go to, Chuck. So it's going to be an impactful day here. Now he gets to do it at home. We'll see if he shows up here.
Honest, in a big game in Memphis, what's your outlook for your performance versus Grambling at home?
They pretty much run the same things in terms of their tackles too, and we know they're gonna try and do a lot of trick plays. Hugh Jackson, he's a good coach, great OC, so we just got to come out hard and adjust to whatever they do. That's all it is.
You know, a lot of ways, this is the Niles Gaddy that people have been waiting on or expecting. What was the difference in last season and the offseason for this emergence of Niles Gaddy this year?
It's more so just about locking in on my little things, like my hands, and can't be missing with certain placement, and just really just focusing on me. That was the main thing. Last year, I just wasn't ready for the moment, and this time I'm ready to go.
You know, we also noticed not only leadership on the field, but on the sidelines, in the locker room, at practice, vocal leadership. How's that developed in you?
Really, I just feel like I'm the type of guy, like I said, I don't really say too much, but I really like to go out there and show it, but at the same time, I don't feel like I'm one of the people that can talk. If I ain't doing it, I ain't producing, so I can't be out here fake doing a fake lead and talking about something I'm not doing, so I gotta actually make some shake before I actually go ahead and try and lead these guys, and that's the main thing this year.
I believe.
There you have it, Niles Gaddy. Huge game last week. Jackson State defense, oh my God. We talked about it coming into the season. They've been every bit as advertised. No one has scored a touchdown yet.
Hey, man, every man loves the I told you so moment. So whenever we talk about this defense, I just sit here and smile because I told y'all. And they attacked me. And they said there's no way this defense will be better than last year's. And there's no way that last year's will rank up there in that pantheon of great Jackson State defenses. 2 games in, it's early. But, Chuck, there are only 2 teams in college football that have yet to have a touchdown scored on them. Those 2 teams, University of Georgia and Jackson State University, their common ground, strength and conditioning coach Maurice Sims.
Yes, sir. We talked about it coming into the season. His work with this team, their bodies transform. I mean, you're seeing it manifest itself out on the field. Yeah.
That jumbotron is like.
I'm trying to act like I don't hear the jumbotron.
I was like, damn, is my stomach growling? What is it? But hey, we are live, so live things are gonna happen, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Offensively, put up 16 points last week. Shador Sanders, 30 of 44, 276 yards and 1 touchdown. Sevion Wilkerson. We talk about coming out parties.
I am
15 rushes, 81 yards.
President of JSU's
Yeah.
National Alumni
I'm looking for a big run game today. These 2 teams, Tennessee State and Grambling, they got to play us similarly. They got to control the clock, which means they got to establish a run game because you got to keep Shador and those wide receivers off the field. Well, in Memphis, they couldn't get their run game going. You know, you talked about it. Second half, 27 plays, -3 yards. So they never could get control of that clock and keep our offense off the field. Now, what happened was our offense didn't turn opportunities into points.
Big bugaboo this past.
Yeah, we didn't turn them into points. Kevin Coleman dropped a touchdown pass in the end zone. Jency Riley, a touchdown pass in the end zone. Shane Hooks was stripped inside the 10. There was a questionable fumble down on the 1. Chuck, that's 28 points right there.
Scoring opportunity. Yeah.
That's 28 points right there. So you take that 28, the block field goal 31, add that to the 16. We're right there with our FAMU numbers. Yeah. So I'm not in panic mode about this offense, but we got to get those wide receivers going. They got to come down with those contested catches, those 50-50 balls.
Got to come down with those contested catches. You touched on it. This receiving room is too deep to not make plays downfield. So we're looking forward to a much better outcome today.
You know, sometimes you're limited by who you travel with. So when the guy's not making a play, you can just sub that guy because that's who made the trip. Sure. It's a home game. Sure. That whole damn receiver unit is going to be on dress today. So drop a ball you want to. Somebody else is going in.
Right there. Well, we take a look into it. Coach Prime, he always sets the tone for the week. You got some great footage coming into the week in terms of getting the mindset ready for this Grambling football team, and he always drops jewels for us.
He does, man. You know, he's giving us that all-access pass, so we get to attend those team meetings. So we sat in with Coach Prime, I think this was on Tuesday, and he set the tone for the week of what his expectations were. So we're going to go now to that segment with Coach Prime speaking to the team.
Yeah, let's take a look.
But we're not where we want to be. I'm going to say that slowly and succinctly. We're 2-0, but we're not where we want to be. But you're going to say, Coach, we ain't lost the game. Yeah, but we've lost time. We've lost plays. We've lost series. And you can't get that stuff back. Some of you guys, I know your dreams. I know your ambitions. I know what you want out of this, coaches included. We can't get those 2 back. We won them, but one of them, we don't want it like that. We want to go somewhere different. Some of y'all ain't happy with your production thus far. Let's not blame the coaches. Let's not blame the scheme, because it's been there. We just got to execute. Sooner or later, we got to look in the mirror and identify the problem, and we got to fix it. So I'm tired of y'all blaming somebody instead of looking in the mirror and let's fix the problem. Let's go earn it, because in this room, in this life, ain't nobody gonna give you nothing you don't deserve. Last thing but not least, where do you want to be? Think about that. Where do you want to be? As a player, as a young man, as an adult, some of you are fathers, some of you have all your sons. Where do you want to be? You need to identify that, devise a plan, and go get it. Because there ain't nothing in here with opportunity. Where my big bag at? Where you at? A couple guys put that thing on the ground, and what you did? You went out there and hunted, all right? That's it. Where my kickers at? Loving y'all. Punter, where you at? Dominate. We're dominating all those spaces. We 3 guys. We got 3 awards this past week. Gaddy, right? Stand up, Gaddy. Mata. And the big bag. You got an award. They tell you got an award. Excuse me?
Automatic, coach.
Huh?
He's automatic.
He's automatic. That's right. Well, we got 3 guys. Clap over there. Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Coach said it best. You guys, you think it starts on Saturday. Some of you coming up Saturday, go to put me in. No. It starts out there. Everybody get in out there. It ain't no putting you in on Saturday if you don't put in out there. So you better put in so you could get out. We got that? Yeah. Let's put in so we could get out what we want. Because it ain't gonna be numerical. Guys, we got a home game. We playing at the crib. We playing at the crib. We gonna blow this social up so it's gonna be a packed house. We want standing room only to see you put on. All right?
Yes, sir.
It starts right here. Ain't no abracadabra, it ain't no ta-da's, ain't none of that. It starts out there. Let's go get it.
Hey, you heard it. Coach Prime said you got to put in so you can get out. And nobody puts in more to Jackson State athletics than Cadillac of Jackson. So we are joined by Joy Dotson and John Hill with Cadillac of Jackson, who are now on board, not just supporting Jackson State athletics, but supporters and title sponsors of the pregame show for the home games this season. Joy and John, welcome to the pregame show.
Thank you so much for having us, Billy.
Look at this beautiful weather and this beautiful red.
Yes, red game today.
Now I'm going to switch to red when the game starts.
Okay.
So I'll be in compliance. If you will, Joy, talk to us about your thinking and your vision behind supporting Jackson State the way you do.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having us. This is an amazing experience. We're so proud of our partnership and sponsorship of the school, of Coach Prime, of the guys playing today. They're so talented. But we're just glad to be here in our home state of Jackson, and we just love coming out here, love seeing this vet packed. It just means the world to us.
Yeah, good stuff. John?
Man, being born and raised in Jackson, this means a lot to me. My mom went here, my dad went here. So the partnership, it reaches real deep with me, and I'm just so ecstatic to be a part of it.
Now you guys, like I said, are with us for the home games, but you're also coming up going to be the official coin toss one of the future games. We're not going to tell them just yet. Okay. We'll let that build up, but we're going to be doing some live shows from your dealership. And I know you're Cadillac of Jackson, but you guys sell much more than Cadillacs.
Yes, very, very much so. And if you'll let me, Joy. Standalone, the only standalone Cadillac dealership in the state of Mississippi. So we take pride in that. Not only do we do new cars, but we have a pre-owned division as well that consists of certified Cadillacs, and we also have a host of pre-owned vehicles from Lexus, Toyota, Honda, Ford, I mean, you name it. We're a one-stop shop.
Man, that's outstanding. You guys are so vibrant in these matching colors. You know, we do red in honor of W.C. Gordon, who added red to our color scheme. So you're going to have about 50,000 plus in the stands today. Grambling to have a few people, but we're going to have 40,000 folks wearing red, and those same 40,000 plus everybody at home is going to be seeing Cadillac of Jackson. You know, one of these home games, we're going to have to drive a cart on the field.
Yes.
That's a good idea.
And get Coach Prime to come out of it.
That's it.
I was telling Chuck before you came on that I enjoy riding with him and that nice Cadillac that you guys have provided for the athletic department. That's a great stuff.
Yeah, we're proud to do that. Love seeing him pull up to all of his activities in our gorgeous Escalade.
Yeah, it looks good with those black rims. Yeah, it looks good. So what do you guys have coming up soon in the dealership that our audience needs to know about?
Well, we just built the whole dealership. It's amazing. We basically kept the footprint of the dealership and built the whole thing. It was a big, huge project. Our whole sales force and everybody was working out of trailers. They just put in the time, and our construction team put in the energy, and we just made it. It's totally state-of-the-art VIP experience all the way. John likes to say top tier. It's a top tier experience.
I agree with John. It is top tier. When I come by for meetings, first class facility, it even smells good. It smells like I want to buy a car today.
That's it.
Well, John and Joy, we appreciate you guys stopping by. I know you're going to be back a lot of times in the future, but enjoy the game today. Any predictions? Who's going to win?
Oh, yes. I know who's going to win. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Neely, we appreciate you.
Hey, John, any and every time, brother.
Yes, sir.
Joy, such a pleasure to see you. And they made it out here to the rooftop to be a part of this, and it ain't easy getting on this roof. Chuck gets stuck in the door all the time. Hey, I tell you what, let's go to Coach Prime getting out of his Cadillac, and we'll get ready to come back.
Go, Coach.
Hey, Joy, let me tell you something. Everybody in Cadillac and Jackson, you did that. Look at this thing, man. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Boy, it's so clean and so dirty. Let me let you peek inside for a minute. Look at this. Yeah. Cadillac and Jackson, I love you and I appreciate you. God bless you.
Let's go! Hey, it's time to hydrate.
Best kept secret in sports. No longer a secret.
Well, I got it. I got it.
Of course I got it.
I got it right after work.
That's right. I got the COVID-19 vaccine.
Because self-care.
I got it because I wanted to get back to my normal.
I was one of the first ones that got it. And now I'm helping others get theirs.
So let's get it together. Sign up and get your vaccine today, and let's stop COVID in its tracks. Visit IGotItMS.com.
We are
Abracadabra.
I was trying to time the tiger growl, you know.
Well, we took a look last weekend, Jackson State versus Tennessee State. We take a look. This Grambling team, explosive team last week, big win, out-of-conference win versus Northwestern State, 47-21. But they had some chunk plays that our defense has.
See, this is why you're going to make it and I'm not. You like Michelle Obama, when they go low, you go high. I'm going to go low. Chuck, they didn't play nobody. But speaking of Grambling, they are here.
Yeah.
A couple of their players were out warming up, some of the coaching staff. We're going to be live to 11:30, so you'll see their players, our players come out. We might even kick it down to a coach interview or two. But Chuck, Grambling 1-1, Jackson State 2-0. We left off before Coach Prime set the tone and Cadillac of Jackson came on, talking about that they got to try to do what Tennessee State did, and that's control the clock.
And that's going to be a huge thing in terms of trying to keep Shador Sanders off the field because we saw it at FAMU. Once he's locked in, ball game. Katie Bartador, as my granddad used to say.
Katie Bartador. This damn Chuck Bishop. Katie Bartador. But here's the problem. Let's say you're successful in keeping this offense off the field. Our special teams scores. Our defense scores.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you look back to Peyton Manning days. You keep him on the bench. You ground and pound. You could beat the coach. Well, the coach really didn't have a scoring defense. These guys are capable of scoop and score, a pick six. So it really changes the scoring narrative when that happens. So I'd say if our defense scores or our special team scores, it's a ball game no matter what they do to keep this offense at bay. But if we get a defensive score and a special team score, it's lights out for anybody in conference because you really can't score on our defense.
No doubt. This is one of the most stout defenses that I put my eyes on. You know, in terms of looking at the early returns.
Lift your mic up just a little bit.
Looking at the early returns, thus far, so good. So.
Yeah.
When we take a look at going through the week, another great segment. Coach Flea, talk about setting the tone for the season, or setting the tone for this game, I should say. Coach Flea brought it like he always does around the block.
You know, Coach Flea stepped in as interim head coach while Coach Prime was down last season. Coach Flea has been a head coach at Howard. He's played in NFL, played college ball. He knows what it takes.
Yeah.
And so we have this segment we call JSU Around the Block. That's a hashtag. Go hashtag JSU Around the Block, and you'll get all these past segments. They're either brought to you by Cadillac of Jackson and sometimes BioSteel, and we got our BioSteel on deck here. But Coach Flea really set the tone on Tuesday when he spoke to the team around the block.
That's good. That's great. That's elite. All right, we're elite. We're here for a reason. Everybody was chosen for a reason. We're talking as coaches, this team has flipped from 1 year to this year. All right, so you are chosen. You are destined to be champions. Your path has been chosen. All right, so let's stay on that path. Let's let no one alter that. All right, good, great, elite. Where are you? All right, coach said about being dominant. That means you got to be elite. That means today in practice you got to check yourself and see if you gave it your all. If not, you got to bring it 10 times tomorrow. All right, 10 times tomorrow. But we got Wednesday, Thursday, those hard days as far as getting it in. Friday we'll walk through, fine tuning, and then Saturday we protect home. Don't nobody come in here at Veteran Memorial Stadium thinking they got a shot. Yes, sir. Coach said it best, guys. I don't give a damn about them getting off the bus thinking they got a shot. I want them right now today on a Tuesday thinking about when they got Jackson State on their schedule. They don't have a fucking chance. Yeah. They don't have a fucking chance. That's how it has to be. We got to be dominant. Last week, guys, we won the game, but we don't feel good because we weren't dominant. We won the game, but we weren't dominant. We got to start being dominant. We got to let motherfuckers know you don't have a shot. You don't have a chance when you come here, face these Tigers. All right? So let's go to work, guys. Let's go to work. Let's go to work. Let's make sure we stay hungry. Let's stay hungry. Y'all boys ready? Hell yeah! Y'all boys ready? Hell yeah! Y'all boys ain't ready? Shit! Y'all boys ain't ready? Shit! Hey, man, let's go to work every day, every day. Protect this block, protect this home. That JSU got to mean something to you. Y'all boys ready? Hell yeah! Give me that JSU jumper jacket, make sure you mean something. Ready? Begin! JSU Tigers! Whistle. Get a break, let's go. Hey, get 2 clap in the rim flow on me. 2 clap in the rim flow on 3. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Hey, scout team on your foot. Let me do that. Let's work out, boys.
Coach Flea!
You ready to go, ain't you?
Ready to go!
Man, don't get out there. Hello.
I tell you what, those chants, they get you going, man. Get the blood flowing.
Yeah, I tell you what, Chuck, let me see what time it is here. See if we're on schedule. It is 10:58 a.m. Central Time, and you see the buses. The Tigers were set to arrive at 11 a.m., and Coach Prime is always early because early is on time.
I was about to say early
and
is
so
on
the
time.
team is getting off the bus. They're going to make their way to the locker room. Then you'll start to see them filtering out behind us. We got about 32 minutes to go in the showtime. But it's been a great Saturday morning in Jackson, Mississippi.
It is gorgeous. This is football weather. A great day to come out to the Vet. And I tell you what, this is going to be a gorgeous day for a home opener. W.C. Gordon. Talk about the legacy of the guy. 147 wins. College football Hall of Famer. Black College football Hall of Famer. SWAC champions 8 throughout the 80s. Those teams in the 80s really set the dynamics for us coming through in the 90s.
Yeah.
So tremendous atmosphere.
And that stretch of undefeated conference games, something that has not been matched, probably will never be matched, because you live in an era where coaches transition. Right. So some of these accolades, he's going to have those forever.
Very much so. Very much so. Let's take a look at this Grambling team. We mentioned it. Huge win last week against Northwest State. 47-21. Big game for their quarterback, Quintarius Hawkins. He went 13 of 23 for 292 yards and 3 touchdowns. But we got an opportunity to talk to Santoria Black, who is a play-by-play for Grambling. Also, you see him on ESPN. But he gives us a great overview of this Grambling Tiger team.
And welcome back into the pregame show. And this is a segment where we, of course, scout the opposition. And we have none other than the longtime voice of the Grambling Sports Radio Network, one of the best in the business. You also see him on ESPN calling games. Santoria Black, welcome into the pregame show.
Thank you so much. How are you, brother?
Doing well, doing well. We take a look at this Grambling State University team that comes in 1-1. Huge win this past weekend over Northwestern State.
Yeah, I think it was a great win. I think Quintarius Hawkins had a fabulous game. He was able to find multiple receivers. And then Maurice Washington, man, running the ball in that first half. He had 2 long touchdowns. So I think the offense found their groove, especially after that first series that Northwestern had, and they scored a touchdown early. And defensively, again, man, they just shut Northwestern down. And you have to credit the defense for causing some mistakes there. Special teams calls had some mistakes for Northwestern. 3 straight kickoffs, and they had 3 straight holding calls, and they started from inside their 15-yard line. So overall, it was a great game.
Year one of the Hugh Jackson era, what sort of dynamic does he bring to this vaunted Grambling history, this vaunted program?
I think the biggest thing is that the experience, not only on the college side, but I think on the NFL side, a lot of the student athletes, they want to go to the next level. They want to be able to play in the NFL. But I think that the biggest thing that they have to know is how to get there. And I think you have a man who has been a head coach with the Cleveland Browns. He's been an assistant. Now he's been was in an HBCU with Eddie George. And so now you're starting to see the difference in schemes a little bit, because you're seeing more HBCUs, especially if they have NFL type coaches, to point their program towards an NFL style program, to where there's camaraderie, where there's chemistry, where there's consistency, and then there's a lot more accountability when it comes to understanding what the role is. Still understanding their student athletes, but if they want to get to the next level, they have to be able to know how to do that. And I think that's what Hugh brings, and a sense of transparency. That's the other thing. He's a big transparency guy. If you want to know what's going on, he's going to tell you.
When we take a look at this matchup versus Jackson State, what do you think the keys to the game are for Graham?
I think the first thing is you can't make mistakes. This offense from Jackson State is very electric. Shedeur Sanders has done a phenomenal job. He can throw the ball. He's got dynamic receivers, a good stable of running backs. But I think that the other thing is they've got to control the tempo offensively. This is a Jackson State team that has not given up an offensive touchdown all season. And so when you start taking a look at what Grambling has to do, they're going to have to try to do something that Tennessee State couldn't do, and of course Florida A&M couldn't do, and that's really move that football and get into the end zone. So they've got to be able to do that. Defensively, they've got to make some stops here. And I think you saw a little bit of that formula this week, especially early on against Tennessee State, and what they were able to do in neutralizing that offense a little bit, holding Jackson State to just field goals in the first half. But that's going to be the thing. They've got to make sure they could cut down the penalties. They can't turn the ball over. They have to move the ball on offense and keep control of the tempo of the ball game. And then last thing is defensively, they have to make sure that they play a solid defensive game and not give up the big play.
You mentioned Quintarius Hawkins and Maurice Washington. What are some other Grambling players that fans should keep their eye out for?
Well, there's a couple of guys. I think Claude Coleman, he had a great game. He had a touchdown in the contest. J.R. Waters is another guy, big-time receiver. You've got Lyndon Rash, who had a long touchdown that ball game, and that's just on the receiving side. They've got some really good receivers. But I think that the most talent on this team is the running back room. They've got some really good running backs on the team. You've got Chance Williams, Floyd Chalk. Both those guys are big guys. You still got C.J. Russell, who's on the team. So these are guys. This is a very, very good room when you're talking about running backs. And so that's where they're going to have to really make their money. And you saw against Northwestern, when you can establish that run, that's what really starts putting Northwestern, what put them on the heels. That's how you're going to have to start here. You have to establish the run if you want to pass the football.
No doubt. Well, there you have it. That is a great look at the Grambling State Tigers. It'll be a 1 o'clock kickoff from Mississippi Veterans Memorial Stadium. Grambling State versus Jackson State. The history of both programs that came into the SWAC in the same year. It should be a great one. Look forward to seeing you there.
Absolutely.
that was a look at the Grambling State Tigers. You know, Centurion mentioned. Here's some names. Maurice Washington, Nebraska transfer, 5 rushes last week, 95 yards. Lyndon Rash, 2 catches for 92 yards. You also had J.R. Waters, 4 catches, 90 yards. They got some playmakers over on the side of the ball.
Yeah, they do have some playmakers, Chuck, and quite frankly, they got some running backs. Our keys are going to have to be to stop the run, not necessarily just for them trying to control the clock, but that's where the success is.
Yeah.
They're going to take some attempts over the top. You saw Tennessee State do that. They converted a big 3rd and 15, a 3rd and 19, but we made those adjustments for mental errors and shut that down. I expect Grambling on 1st and 2nd down, they're going to try to go over the top.
Of course.
And I expect them on 2nd and 3rd down to get a screen. Number 2 and number 28 are the backs that they like to use. Yeah, and number 2 is mostly that screen back. So when you see him in the game, expect a screen, stay disciplined, because that's where they're getting those big plays from.
You mentioned stay disciplined. Eye discipline is going to be huge for the linebackers today.
It will be. It will be, because these guys can't beat us. You want me to say that again?
That was pretty succinct.
These guys can't beat us. So how do they beat us? They catch us off guard. There's going to be a trick play. There's going to be an onside kick. There's going to be a reverse. There's going to be a halfback pitch to the quarterback, and he throws it downfield. Head up, 11 on 11. These guys can't beat us. They just can't. So they have to do something we're not expecting, get a big score, take this crowd out of the game, take the sonic boom out of the game, because if Shedeur Sanders hits on two of these touchdown passes, those wheels are going to come off because the big momentum is going to be in town.
Huge thing, Miles Still. Momentum. When you take a look at it, the wheels on the bus really got going against FAMU. Where Big Mo sat over there on our sideline, drank a little Gatorade with us, and it just kept going. And this team feeds on energy plays, and it just keeps going.
Yeah, the key is to start fast. We saw this in this team last year. They wait till they get hit in the mouth, and then they play ball instead of hitting in the mouth first. Well, keep in mind, this offense under Coach Brett Battalarni is designed to attack. So we'll see if we get that ball first, if we go over the top, if we drive down and get a quick score and kind of just suck the life out that visitor side of the stadium versus what happened in Tennessee. You had those stops where now Eddie George's team has the momentum because Jackson State should have 21 points and they only have 6.
It kept them in the game.
It kept them in the game. And that's what Grambling is going to have to try to do. They're going to have to try to stay in the game. How do we hang around? How do we get it close? Do something they don't expect, catch them off guard. If our guys stay disciplined and do their jobs, we're going to have a big day. But it all starts with stopping the run because they have a running back room by committee, including a back that Coach Prime coached at Truth and Trinity.
Keelan Elder. And Centurion mentioned they have a deep running back room, but one of the first tenets of a Dennis Thurman defense, stop the run.
Stop the run and prevent all points. Doesn't matter where they are on the field. If they ain't in, they ain't in. So look for that defensive intensity, starting from the defensive line and those linebackers, but who really has to stay disciplined, not just those linebackers. Those safeties and corners don't get bored because they're going to come over the top. They're going to do it. They got to get a big play. They got to.
Explosion plays last week for Grambling. They had scoring plays of 83 yards and 71 yards. Like you said, they're going to take these shots. We saw Tennessee State do it. FAMU really didn't get a chance to do it.
No.
But you see the blueprint going forward.
But that FAMU is an example of why they didn't get a good chance to do it. We made them one-dimensional. When you get up so big on somebody, they can't run the ball. They got to pass the ball to catch up. Now that they're passing the ball to catch up, those edge rushers are coming. Those corners and safeties are salivating. It's ball game. But if you allow a team to establish the run and mix it up back and forth, they're not predictable anymore. What makes them predictable in the SWAC, playing Jackson State, get up 21-0.
Then you get real predictable.
Yeah, get up 21-0.
And that leads us right into, and you've been touching on it, your keys for Jackson State to get this W today.
I tell you what, let me reverse engineer it.
Go for it.
The keys for Graham to get a W or just get a loss. They got to establish the run. They got to score off special teams. watch number 3. He's their explosive guys. Marquise Britton, I think it is, number 3 on their punt returns, on their kickoff returns. He's the guy that can make a house call. So if they get a score off special teams, then they got a shot in this ball game. We need to get a score off special teams. We need to flip the field position and pin them back. We had several opportunities this season in Miami and Memphis to down the ball inside the 5, but we let it go into the end zone.
And I think that's a huge key for me, is the way we played on special teams last week, pinning Tennessee State deep. And it allows the defense to really get creative in terms of stop the run and get after the quarterback. I think there were 9 straight possessions where Tennessee State had to punt.
You know, I'm going to tell you this, because I look at Grambling, they've taken the field, Aubrey Miller, some of our players on the field. I can say this, Chuck, because they can't hear me right now. If we pin them in that north end zone, and they're in front of that student section in that band,
they gotta hear it.
Dennis Thurman is sending 11. 11 are going. It's coming.
Dennis Thurman, I tell you what, the stuff he cooks in the lab is always fun, and you see the fruits of the labor. 9 sacks last week, I believe, 7 in week 1. This team already leads the nation in sacks.
Well, Dennis Thurman trusts them. He trusts their athleticism more than they do. I said it before, Chuck. We talked on Wednesday. A lot of guys grab and hold because they don't trust their feet. They don't trust their speed. They don't trust their stamina. Dennis Thurman, Coach Maurice Sims, have these guys in a physical and mental state. Trust your ability. That guy's not faster than you. You don't have to grab him.
That's a great point.
So we need diminished penalties. There's no need for pass interference. You're stronger and faster than the guy. Trust your technique. Trust your ability. Make the play.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for that to happen. So some of those keys to Jackson State victories, just that, minimal penalties. We got to clean up the game. And we don't need those penalties where it's 3rd and 5 and we jump off sides and they end up scoring off that drive instead of punting.
Yeah.
So it's not just penalties on offense, because we had a touchdown pass that was called back because we had a holding on the offensive line. So that thing cuts both ways. But go ahead.
And that's a great point, because I think penalties has been one of those bugaboos in the first 2 games with Jackson State that is kind of held them back, and it's always something you check off for the coaches.
And it's really a bugaboo because of the expectations of our head coach. Get this. Jackson State has been penalized a lot, right? Per Coach Prime. Here are the facts. Grambling is the #1 penalized team in the SWAC. There are only 12 teams in the SWAC.
Yeah.
We're 10th.
Yeah.
We're 10th.
Yeah.
And that's not good enough. He wants no penalties, but if we can get Graham to grab, to hold, to jump off sides, to get a personal foul, they don't have a chance, Chuck. They can't catch up.
Yeah, great camera shot of the players coming out on the field. One guy that we need to touch on, he was one of the SWAC players of the week, Alejandro Mata. Atamata had a tremendous game last week against Tennessee State. But you see some of the special teams guys milling around. Grambling guys are filtering out. I see quarterback 2 out there.
Man, let me tell you something. Tell you what I'm finna do. I'm finna get my wide ass up, so let them just see. I'm gonna talk from over here. Y'all just look at that beautiful beam footage.
Yeah.
Because that's just a great shot. The Tigers are coming out. Grambling is out. People are getting loose. The stands, the tailgating is taking place. So you're seeing more and more red come in. We'll be here till 11:30. Coach O is out.
I see Coach O.
Coach O is out. Hey, man, it's a great day to be a Tiger, a Jackson State Tiger.
Great day to be a Jackson State Tiger, and a great day to be a sponsor of the pregame